Hello everyone, it is Jazz here. Today I'm doing a vinyl book mashup video. If you haven't watched any of my vinyl book mashup videos, basically what I do is I pick out 3 albums from my vinyl collection and I match them up with books based on theme or whatever I think about when I think of that music or album. So I have my 3 albums here and I really had to brainstorm to think of some books to match up with them, so let's go on with the show. The first album that I have right here to match up is the soundtrack for the movie musical La La Land, and I decided the best way to match up this album with something was to pick books based on the characters in the movie. Because one of the characters in La La Land is a musician, I decided to go with The Pocket DJ by Sarah Lewitton, I believe is how you say her last name. Now this book is all about music and playlists. There is a little bit of advice in the front about how to be a DJ if you so wish to learn how to be a DJ. There's some quick little tips in here about that, but mostly the book is just generally about really having a great music collection, some of the essentials that you might want to have in your music collection to listen to and things like that, so you can kind of be your own DJ, if you will. And the cool thing about this book is that it is just completely full of themed playlists, some under the theme of different styles, some under different artists, some are just fun ones. For example, there is a whole playlist that she has listed here of songs with people's names in it. The other main character in this movie is an actress, so I thought I would pick an acting sort of non-fiction book, and this book is The Monologue Audition for a Practical Guide for Actors by Karen Coles. I can't pronounce anybody's name right now, but basically this is just a book of tips on how to do monologues, which is the main thing that you do when you're auditioning, right? Emma Stone's character in this does go through a lot of crazy auditioning, so I thought this was a very good match. I did use this a little bit myself, especially in my teen years when I was trying to come up with good ways to go about learning monologues, and I actually made some funny notes about a monologue that I was working on in the back here, so I did find it very helpful. This movie so much made me think about different kinds of auditioning things. I thought this was a good matchup right here. Next album I'm going to match up is Simon & Garfunkel's The Sound of Silence. Now it took me a really long time to match up this with a book, just because when I think of the song The Sound of Silence, I immediately think of the movie The Graduate, which immediately makes me think of the book The Graduate. But I have already matched up that book with another album, so I didn't want to repeat that, even though it is a really excellent book. Then I remembered a few months ago when I was rereading the book The Shipping News by Annie Proulx that I put on this album one Sunday and was listening to it while reading this book, and it was just a really great way to go about passing time. It was a very nice weekend thing to do, and I also do think that a lot of the themes that are shared in this album are shared in this book. The actual musicianship on this really works well with this book. It's the kind of book where I just wanted to listen to some really cool guitar playing and things like that. There are a lot of story type songs on this album, and this is about writing for the news and telling different stories, and it's a very, artistic, poetic sort of book, so I thought, wow, that is the perfect match. And I guess that's why they were a perfect reading pair. I could read this book while listening to this album so well. This last one was also a little bit of a challenge to match up, and it is the soundtrack for the Broadway musical Wicked. Now, the reason it is a bit of a challenge is because the obvious sort of cop-out answer for this is to match it up with the book Wicked by Gregory Maguire, which is the basis of the musical. And also, you could, of course, match it up with The Wizard of Oz, since Wicked is a parallel novel to Wizard of Oz. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be a little different. And then I thought, why not match this album up with another Gregory Maguire book that I really enjoyed? So I decided to match this up with Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. It is a retelling of the story of Cinderella, but it is from one of the stepsisters' points of view. And not unlike the book Wicked, it kind of puts a spin on it in which Cinderella is not so nice, and the stepsister that it is written in the point of view of is actually quite interesting and kind of the good guy in this piece. It's a book that I really enjoyed, but I rarely ever talk about it on my channel for some reason. I guess because I haven't reread it in such a long time, but it's definitely something that I should reread and should talk about because it was a really interesting book. And so I thought, why not match it up with another type of Gregory Maguire imagining. So that was the vinyl book mashup for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe discovered some new books, and that would be super awesome. And I will see you guys all on Thursday. Thank you for watching. Bye!